The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Hot topics, food, fun, entertainment, and serious business. Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese.
Oh, we definitely have some food for you today as we go into the holiday season. You know, it is so easy for people to just overeat or, not eat as healthily as they should. Or you've got different family members who don't necessarily share the same eating habits. So here is a man who can tell you all about what you need to do to stay healthy and, really enjoy a great vegan diet. This is Chef Don Lemperle from VegeNation, one downtown Las Vegas and the other one is in Henderson on Eastern. So you've got two locations, and thank you for being my guest today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
This is fantastic. All right, let's talk about, before we get into all of these wonderful, wonderful items, let's talk about the vegan diet, because when I was talking with you and Kelly before the show got started, and there is a big misconception people have out there that somehow if you eat just a vegan diet, your nutritional levels, some will suffer.
Right. There's like a stereotype that, vegans are frail and weak, but that's not the case. And there's always a misconception that like where the vegan's going to get their protein.
Right.
But there's plenty of protein in food like beans and legumes and lentils and all kinds of vegetables do have protein in it. And what's really good, it's complete protein.
Right.
So it's got all the amino acids.
Right. Yeah, you're talking about your restaurant, a 100% plant-based menu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything on the menu is plant-based. We don't use any animal products. And what we have is a restaurant that uses we have a very diverse menu. Where we have like global street food from around the world. Like every culture's got really cool vegan dishes. So we try to expose that and give variety for our guests, and so they can have something that's tasteful and they enjoy.
Yeah. Let's give us a little bit of your history, because you didn't start out as a vegan chef.
No, I didn't.
So you came from New York.
Right. I came from New York. I came from a restaurant family. When I was growing up, my folks had a small Italian restaurant on Staten Island, right? And then I got an opportunity as I got older to work in some really fine French restaurants in New York, so I got some really strong culinary experience. And then I wound up moving to Arizona for the company that transferred, and then I came to Las Vegas.
Right.
And I remember going to the farmer's market in Las Vegas. They used to have Mario Battaglia's farmer market over on D. Martin, and this was on a Thursday morning, and the farmer's market was packed. And it's like, I told my wife, I said, wow, this is really cool.
Right.
You got people coming out in the middle of the day, in the morning, sourcing some really good products. I said, I think there's a great opportunity for like my kind of concept, a plant-based restaurant in Las Vegas.
Right.
So that's how it came about happening. Yeah.
Well, the people who follow my show know that this has been sort of a mission of mine, ever since I started going toward a plant-based diet myself a couple of years ago. I started transitioning just for health reasons. You also had a health scare that actually sort of propelled you in this direction.
I've been on a plant-based diet for 13 years because I was diagnosed with something that's called multiple myeloma. It's a cancer of the plasma cells in your blood, and so think about my diet, my lifestyle. So I really analyzed it, and so I went to a plant-based diet, and like one of the things I wanted to do is like this theory that the chlorophyll in your blood gives you oxygen in your blood, and oxygen is the enemy of cancer.
Right.
So I went to a plant-based diet, and it's been great ever since, And so it's like my meaning, my purpose, and I'm just like so happy to be able to do this kind of restaurant, actually offering good food that makes people feel good, and because mostly the business models in restaurants is not that. It's like, feed people, stuff people, but no matter what kind of garbage they're going to eat. But like in VegeNation, you come to the restaurant, you could eat and feel really good about yourself.
Right.
And our staff, and we're all passionate about it.
Yeah.
So it's just like sometimes I pinch myself. I can't believe it. Yeah.
Now you partnered with the Downtown Project to get started.
Right. That's how I got funded with the Downtown Project.
Yeah.
And I feel so fortunate. Just everything fell into place. When I was looking to fund my idea for a restaurant, I had a business plan made and everything, and I was trying to figure out how to get the capital to put it together. And then what happened was I heard that the Downtown Project was funding small businesses. So what I did is I notified them, and I told them about my idea, and they said, that sounds pretty good. What we want you to do is we want you to cook for us. So what I did is I made this 13-course meal with all different kind of vegan. I wanted to show the variety and the scope of what can be done.
Right.
So I cooked for 30 the representatives from like the downtown projects and people that were involved with it, and it went really well. And they said, "Hey, this is pretty cool. We out of all the chefs, you tested like the highest out of all of them, and we think this would work."
Wow.
So that's how it came about. And I just like. I feel so lucky, yeah.
You're also very good friends with a friend of mine, Rosalind Brooks.
Okay,
over at Biggest Roots.
And she's another really great change maker, and it's great. Like when you're into this kind of food, the amazing people that you meet, and she's got a really good community garden.
Yes.
And we get a lot of stuff from her.
Yeah.
She's growing kale or basil or something, and she'll call me and say, "Hey, I got this, bring it over,"
Right.
So it's really good to be utilizing product that's really, really local. It's right in the community. It's organic. It's delicious. It's good. It's nutritious, and so she supplies us, and she's fantastic. It's really a change maker, and she's like changing the community. And so it's like Rosalind's one of the people that that I met and run into. Yeah.
One of the things too, since I've been on this journey, I realized that, and not to knock any farmers markets, any particular ones, but a lot of people don't realize that produce in some of the markets is coming from another state.
Yeah.
How many local sources do you have here?
Well, I mean, there's like we try to use as many local vendors as possible in our restaurant, not just when it comes to produce, but other products.
Right.
Like the coffee product. We have a local coffee roaster, Frankly Good Coffee, the Bloom and Desert Farm that does our tea. We have a liquor license in the restaurant, so we're using like a local craft brewery, Craft House Brewery, and then we have the Las Vegas Distillery supplying the booze. So it's local, and it's really passionate people about what they do.
Right.
So it's really great because we share the vendors, and they have interest in us, we have interest in them, and what we're really making is something that's unique for Las Vegas.
Right.
So I really think it's a good catch for tourists to come in and, hey, we're using, and your cocktail is the only booze that's actually distilled in Las Vegas itself,
Right.
So hey, that's something you're not going to get anywhere else, and you want to have that experience.
I was reading a lot of your reviews, and just like you were saying, I was really taken by how many people were coming in, and this was one of their stops. VegeNation is one of their stops when they're in Las Vegas. Not just downtown, but they're making a specific trip to eat at your restaurant.
Right. We've been open for 2.5 years, and I mean, it's been a fantastic journey. And I could tell you, one of my greatest pleasures when people come in from, we had a person in the other night from New York City that belonged to this big vegan society, and they said, we've been dying to come here, and this was the first stop they made in Las Vegas. And it was like, to me, that's like the cherry on the cake,
Right.
because it makes all the work worthwhile, that people really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
So the word is really getting out about you nationwide.
yeah, we're trying. There's a big vegan movement going on. Like, I've been in restaurant industry all my life, and the food industry is like any other fashion. It's got trends, but this is more than a trend that people are adapting, and it's like a really lifestyle shift.
Right.
And people are starting to be aware and understand like how important it is your diet, not only to your own health, but to the environment, to the compassion for the animals. It all ties in together. And I think food is like the common denominator
Right.
when it comes to a lot of problems in our society. Like, for instance, health issues. 60% of chronic diseases are caused from your diet.
Right.
I mean, it really upsets me when I go to the supermarket and I see what people are putting into their carts, and I want to say, like, shaking. It's like, wake up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we have one of our frequent guests is Andy Bellotti. He's a nutritionist based here in Las Vegas, and that's what he has said a couple of times on the show. Is that people will say, "Oh, well, cancer runs in my family or diabetes runs in my family." He says, "No, bad eating habits run in your family."
Exactly.
And so, your father might have had something, or your grandfather might have had something. Let's look at what they were eating.
Right.
And let's see if there's a connection between, and how are you eating now? Big deal.
Yeah, it's real important.
Yeah.
I mean, and to me, it's common sense. You're going to eat good food. You're going to feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Well, tell us what you got here, because the thing that I find is so interesting too. John found the images online. It's just all of your dishes. Just look, the look is so unique. I mean, they're pretty. Your dishes are pretty.
Well, they say like you eat with your eyes first, right?
Yeah.
You see something that looks good,
Right,
all right?
right.
So if you something that doesn't look too appetizing, you're not going to go any further and eat it. So you try to make a dish, and I try to get like a wow factor.
Yeah.
Like when it goes to the table. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
So what have we got here?
So this
is Kelly's favorite.
Yeah, this is
Kelly. I'm sitting over here going, that is my favorite.
On the menu at VegeNation, I have items that are named after vegan celebrities.
Okay.
All right. And this one here is called the Tory Washington salad. So it's like almost like a taco salad. It's got a layer of organic black beans, organic brown rice on the bottom, and then we have some local greens that's tossed in a chipotle vinaigrette. And the name of the salad is called Tory Washington. And I really think it's cool because Tori Washington is a vegan bodybuilder, right? And he's been into the restaurant a few times, and I was first introduced to him over there, and I was really like inspired by him. I said, here is like a world-class bodybuilder,
Right.
like the person that's in the optimum physical condition, and he's on a total vegan plant-based diet.
Yeah.
So I want people to say, they come into the restaurant and say, why is this salad Tori Washington? And we say, that's why. And so maybe they could think a little bit about, hey,
Make that
it doesn't mean vegans are frail and weak,
Right.
Yeah,
and you've got, I think the thing that I love too is that you've got everything that looks like anything you get in any other restaurant. It's not like it's like some sort of weird, like the salad looks like a salad. Your pizza looks like a pizza. So what kind of pizza is this?
This is all called our picante pineapple pizza. And I love pizza. I could eat pizza every day. It's one of the person. I got this big appetite. I love carbs. This is a picante pineapple pizza. It's got jalapenos. It's got pineapple that's roasted, and then we have our vegan sausage, and we have the plant-based cheese.
I got my phone going off. Right. Hold on a second, folks. And you know something? I had a funny feeling that this was going to happen today. There you go. So
that's our pineapple pizza. Yeah. And
now, what do you make? What looks like meat? What is that made of?
This is called it's called wheat meat or seitan. So it's like the protein from the wheat. Yeah. Okay. So it's a dish that you like where vegans get their protein. This is one of the items. This is one of the options that we use in the restaurant.
Neat.
Yeah.
And so over here,
this is a really dish that I love because I'm from an Italian American family. And we do a lot of pasta and dishes with tomato sauce, and this is our kind of like an eggplant parmesan. So what it is it's roasted layers of thick cut eggplant with cashew ricotta cheese, right?
Cashew ricotta cheese.
Right. So cashew, we soak the cashews, and then we blend it with some spices and some miso, and a little bit of vegan cream cheese, and it comes out like ricotta cheese. But what the good thing about it is not being cheese, it doesn't have all that cholesterol and those heart-clogging like ingredients in it. So it's something that's on the healthy side.
Oh, amazing!
And the eggplant is baked, so it's not fried. So it's really on the healthy side.
And this looks like sushi.
Yep. This is we call it Save the Tuna. Okay. And it really bothers me because when I see like the eating habits of like humans, it's like we're depleting our oceans. I mean, we're not going to have enough seafood for the next generation, so we got to kind of think about what we're eating.
Right.
So we call it Save the Tuna because it's like the bluefin tuna is a fish that's becoming extinct.
Right.
Right. So maybe if they could eat a little bit more Save the Tuna sushi and not have the traditional tuna sushi every day, there might be something left for our next generation. So this is made with the black forbidden rice. So I wanted to come up with a healthier component on it. And this, the folklore behind this rice is that this rice was saved for like the royalty of the emperors in China. So it was only the black rice was for them.
Right.
Right. So I used.
I've never seen black rice. That's amazing.
Yeah. And we roll it with nori, so you have that kind of like ocean flavor to it from the seaweed, and it's roasted seaweed. We have in it mango, avocado, red pepper, scallion, and then we roll it, and we have a little bit of like carrot and ginger puree on top of it to add some more flavor to it.
That's so exciting. Well, and once again, it's you're right. You eat with your eyes. I mean, like, I'm already drawn to this. It's sort of like, okay, everything looks so good. When people come in and like there are family members, some people are vegan, some people are not. Some of the reviews I read were some folks were kind of skeptical. They're thinking, I don't see how I'm going to find anything that I really like. Yeah.
What I really like when the instances happen, we might say, for instance, we might have a couple come in and like the wife might be like really like on a vegan diet and bring the husband in like a big baby, I don't want any vegetables. And they might have something like the pizza or we have like a spaghetti and meatballs on the menu, and they might have that, and they say,
not too bad.
So I mean, I really love that when it happens.
Right. Yeah. So this is it's not just the labor of love and the food, but for you, it's also an educational effort to get the word out.
Absolutely. I think it's really important. And some of the things we do with VegeNation, we sponsor a couple of the school gardens that are in like deprived areas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's also my latest thing. I've gone now to maybe 6 or 7. We have a chef Michelle Basinski. We met because she was doing a class at one of the schools I didn't know CCSD had all of these gardens in the schools. And so I've been going from school to school to school, finding the kids. I think the best part about it is watching how excited that they get when they're actually able to eat something that they know they planted.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's a great experience that we go to the school, and the children be like first and second graders, and they're out of the classroom. They love it, and they get to play in the dirt. And what we do is we plant the seeds, and then we harvest the garden throughout the season.
Right.
And then when we harvest it, we'll take the product, and I'll go to the school and then do a cooking demo for it.
Yeah.
And like you said, they love it because it was something that they grew in their garden, you know.
They saw it.
And they
yeah.
experienced it. And like, I remember when I was a child in school, they used to give out seeds in the class. And
Yes.
And that's something I remember my
the
whole
Dixie
life.
cup?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
why. I've always had
Yeah.
that thing because that was like so exciting for me. Put my little seed in my Dixie cup and then watch whatever it was grow up, and And I always had as a kid plants in my room. I always had some sort of plant going in my room at all times. But I didn't get into gardening until a few years back, and I thought it was interesting too because it was a good friend of mine who she was into roses. And when I first met her, I remember her husband telling me she makes her own dirt. I didn't know what that meant, compost.
Right.
So little by little, just hanging out with her, I started thinking, well, maybe I should try a garden. So I just went and got those big Tupperware containers,
Sure.
tubs, and because I wasn't going to start digging because in my backyard it was straight caliche. And it was just so exciting to watch, tomatoes coming and peppers coming, and to actually see stuff that wasn't covered with cellophane. But the first time my sister came over and she caught me in the backyard eating, she was like, "Aren't you going to wash that off?" I'm like, "No, I didn't use pesticides. I know it's all good. I might have to flick a bug off, but that's okay." But yeah, that notion of being nourished by the earth without a whole lot of chemicals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. You know?
Yeah. And you just mentioned to John, our owner, but there's a documentary out that people are really talking about.
Yeah, there's a new documentary on Netflix called What the Health, and it goes into like the theory behind like a plant-based diet, and it's really eye-opening. And we've gotten so many customers coming to the restaurant. I saw the movie, and it's like changed my life.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I think it's like maybe that seismic shift that people went through when I remember when Super Size Me came out.
Right.
I was never that big of a fast food restaurant person anyway, but that pretty much killed it for me. After that, I thought, well, what are we? We're not really eating real food.
No.
It's like manufactured food, and you might actually get on a burger maybe a couple of pieces of lettuce and maybe this tomato that gosh knows where it came from, but that's it.
It's absolutely not a sustainable diet if you want good health.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's got to be a little bit of a kickback coming from the agricultural industry, from the meat people, from the chicken folks and the beef folks, and that whole advertising thing going, you must eat meat. That's what's best for you.
Yeah, I mean, like you hear things on like about dairy and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't want to go into it, but
we're gonna keep the politics out.
Yeah. But I mean, like, and one of the things is like, I'm not saying like you don't need to eat meat every day. Right. So we try to give them an option where like, hey, I could have something and I'll be satisfied and fulfilled.
Well, one of the things that Rosalind's doing now, she started Well Women of Color, and she's trying to ease everybody into it because she feels like a lot of people of color, we tend to eat kind of badly sometimes, and eating a lot of meat. So she's like weaning the members of the group. She's on this. Just go 2 days without meat. You don't have to. Just kind of following like what I had to do was just wean myself off of it. She says don't just go cold turkey because then you'll go back. A week or so ago, maybe a little bit longer, I couldn't help it. I was just driving by KFC, and I don't know where my head was that day or whatever, but it just smelled so good, and I hadn't had any in so long, and so I went in and I bought a bucket of chicken. The dogs ended up eating it all. The minute I put it in my mouth, I realized my taste buds had changed. I couldn't, it was just too much, it was
right.
Extra crispy was too much, the meat was too much, and so my dogs were sitting there kind of going, bring it. we don't mind.
Yeah, it absolutely does change your taste buds. I remember before I opened VegeNation, and I worked for a restaurant group, and I didn't tell them I was vegan, so I was an undercover vegan. And, I would have to taste food and like kind of spit it out when, And they had a sister restaurant, and it was a Japanese restaurant, and it was Valentine's Day, and I took my wife, and they had vegan options on the menu,
Right.
so I was good. But then the chef recognized me, so he sent me out food, you know.
Oh.
And I remember he sent me out like a really high quality piece of filet mignon, and I had to eat it. Yeah, so I was eating and it just didn't feel right in my mouth, and this was like the most expensive meat you could purchase.
Right.
And it just didn't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you definitely change your taste buds.
And then
yeah.
also, in terms of my intestines, we were talking before the show, Kelly and I said, lately, I'll get on a vegetable, just one vegetable kick, where I just want to eat that vegetable all day long. For a while there, I was strung out on tomatoes. And the meal wasn't complete unless I had a whole bunch of tomatoes. And I got tired of the tomatoes. Then my latest thing has been cabbage.
Okay.
It's like I can't go a day without cabbage. It's just like my main source of anything. And she was saying, well, that's very gut cleansing.
Right.
And if we get closer to a plant-based diet, I mean, I'm sure you found with your health challenge, your body will tell you what it needs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, your body is a sophisticated machine, right? Billions and billions of cells.
Right.
And if you listen to it, it's going to tell you what it needs. It's amazing, right? But yeah.
So
Yeah.
around this time of year, do you make special holiday dishes that you don't serve at any other time?
Well, we do really cool hot chocolate.
Ooh.
Yeah, we had that. And I'm looking to start rolling it out soon,
Uh-huh.
with vegan marshmallows on top of it, and then maybe with the raw cacao, organic cacao. So you get that satisfying flavor with coconut milk.
How do you make vegan? What do you make vegan marshmallows out of?
We buy the vegan marshmallows. Yeah,
Okay.
it's something we have to source. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit too much time consuming to try to figure that out. Yeah. But we do make the vegan hot chocolate from scratch.
Yeah.
So that's something that's pretty cool.
What would you say is your breakdown of your customers? Mostly local, or just a sprinkling of the people who are coming in of tourism, or is it a mix of all?
I'll tell you, that's one of the things that I'm really, really happy with. I walk in the restaurant, I just see the mix of people. Like, we're located downtown, we'll see them
Because on Carson, you're very accessible. Yeah.
We'll have because a lot of law offices and
Right.
like kind of business downtown. I'll see like lawyers in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see like punk rockers. And it's just like a really diverse. And we'll see like Hispanic families, and I remember seeing like a lot of Hispanic families that, like the children like in their 20s or something, they'll bring their parents in and experience it.
Oh,
so it's really
wow.
like opening their eyes to them too. So it's like a
Wow.
really cross section of guests coming into the restaurant. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Well,
Yeah.
and I've noticed some of the downtown businesses have not been doing that well, but yours is thriving. I mean, it's not just your location; it's your product. Your restaurant is doing very, very well with that support downtown. Yeah, and how important was the downtown project for you?
I mean, I can't thank him enough. For a chef, it's a dream to be able to have somebody fund and let them follow your vision.
Right.
Right, and they let me do exactly what I want.
Yeah, they're not telling you what to do.
No,
Right.
no, yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to that, that's great. Because sometimes when you're trying to start your own business, you have investors, and they're going to try to tell you how to do it.
Right.
No, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
You let me do it, and so really, like, super, super grateful to them.
Yeah. So what are your plans moving forward? Because you've got the Henderson location. How long has that one been open?
We opened the Henderson location. It's been about 2 months.
Okay. Oh, that's brand new.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So
Is it
that's
smoking
early.
like the one downtown?
It's getting there. Yeah, it's getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, the word is out. So the word gets out.
Yeah.
So do you see more locations maybe?
I'd like to do a few more. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's why VegeNation, I thought, would be a brand that could grow anywhere.
Right.
We get a lot of guests coming into the location downtown and said, if tourists or something, hey, you should have one in over here in Dallas, or you should have one in Phoenix or something.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah.
You started chain, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on for a second. We're going to take a really quick break, and we'll be right back.
Put her hand in mine and said she loved me so very long ago.
Hey, how's it going? You can just throw your name up on the list and we'll get right to you. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks for coming in. Let me just clean this spot up and then we'll get right to you. You can hop on up if you're ready. Welcome to the shop. You need a shave too, though, right?
I don't know if I would accept a shave from somebody who's unshaven.
I look like a child when I have a clean-shaven face.
No, I wouldn't want a child cutting my hair. And I'd also need to know that the blades have been sanitized thoroughly.
I can guarantee you that the barbicide is 100% authentic, and these are sanitized tools I'm using.
Well, what is
Have you ever gotten a straight razor shave?
Is there any other kind? This stuff smells like Irish Spring.
Brings me back to childhood.
Did you grow up in a chemical plant? Hurry up.
Yeah, well, you know. Now you look like $1 million.
Well, that's your job. I'll be sure and mention your facility during my show tonight.
I think my favorite part about this move that we're making in this country toward a plant-based diet is when we talk about sustainability, and you mentioned that earlier. It's like there are other ways. We can't protect this earth if we are using all of our resources to just take care of meat or something else. It's just an inefficient use of our resources.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now, you know, the world population is becoming more sophisticated. Like countries like India and China, their middle class is really growing, so the demand is going up, and the planet's not going to be able to sustain it. So we got to wake up.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people think that this is hyperbole, that, we're not going to hurt the earth. Oh, there's no such thing as global warming. But how many billions of people do we have on the earth now? I mean, these arguments are being made without an overview of how our Earth's population is exploding.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
and if you just look at, like, through my lifetime, how the food has changed, like, everything pretty much was organic prior to us. It was pesticides, and everything's grown in industrial, like, thought behind it, on how it's going to be like sold and produced, and,
right.
And it's just like too mass marketed, and not food anymore. Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is, folks, you can actually, like Rikki Cheese, grow stuff in your own backyard.
You could grow stuff. You could cook your own stuff. Right. Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. Yeah. Well, thank you, Chef, for being on the show today. Really, how can people get in touch with you other than just coming down and seeing VegeNation right there on Carson?
My email is lostveganchef@gmail.
Okay.
Right? That's pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
And you can contact any questions, anything you'd like to know about the restaurant, anything you'd like to know about, a plant-based lifestyle. I'm open to.
And you're on Instagram too, so you're on all the social media
VegeNation's
platforms.
on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Twitter. Facebook.
But do like I do, just pop on in.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it's really pretty too. The restaurant is very well designed. When I walk in, I just feel comfy. I think that's really nice.
Oh, great.
Well, thank you for being on. Happy holidays.
You too.
And I will be seeing you again very soon. And
I look forward to
as
it.
soon as we take another break, I'm having some sushi. We'll be right back.
All right, you guys dig it.
Crazy Terry here with your car care tip of the day. Today's tip's about tire maintenance, how to check a tire, how to fill it properly. Okay, so as we can see, we've got a low tire. We probably saw that a month ago and said we'll fill it, but like everything, we let a day go by. Next thing you know, we got a problem. Properly check a tire, remove the valve cover, got a tire gauge, simply put it on there, and it'll read the pressure down at the bottom in PSI, pounds per square inch. We can see here that this is so low, it's barely reading. There's probably 10 pounds in it at best. So how do we properly inflate it? Well, we're going to need an air chuck. Go down to the local store or come by the shop. We'll use this tool to inflate it. And that sounds like that's all we need to do. But we need to know how much to inflate it to, because overinflated is just as bad as underinflated. We can look at the tire, and on here we're going to find a cold pressure rating rated in PSI. And it's going to say anywhere from 32 to 80 pounds depending on the vehicle. We'll want to find that so we know the maximum inflation cold. We're going to look until we find the load rating. And here we find the maximum PSI is 44 PSI, pounds per square inch cold. We don't want to fill it any more than that, but we don't want to underfill it either. We want to fill it to 44. So it seems like checking the air pressure is no big deal. It's not. It's really simple to do, but we want to make sure we got the correct pressure. How do we find that? Let me show you. We open the door and we locate the sticker. It's usually right here. It could be down on the lower rocker, but it's on the driver's side. And after we look around, we'll see right here it says 35 PSI. That's the pressure that the tire requires that was sold with the vehicle. But if you change the tires later to a high-performance tire, mud and snow or anything else, look at the cold pressure on the side of the tire to make sure you're properly inflated. This could be 35 today, but we get a performance tire, it's 44, 45, or even higher. We'll want to make sure we're inflating the tire properly. A couple of things you're going to need if you're checking your own tires: tire gauge and a rag, because you are going to get a little dirty. If you don't want to do that, I don't blame you. Bring it to the shop, we'll check it for you. We'll do a whole inspection on the vehicle if you like. We'll check the tires, make sure you're safe. This can save you a lot of time and keep you safe. Crazy Terry here with your car care tip of the day. Thanks a lot.
Just in time for the holidays, some unique jewelry creations that every woman should have. I mean, just take a look at all these stunning creations. All the work of this woman, Marcia Bergenfield of Emsum Designs. Thank you for being my guest on the show again.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about the range of, first of all, how did you get started in the jewelry business?
Well, to tell you the truth, Emsum came to me in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's named after my two children, Emerson and Sumner. And I remember dreaming about it and then coming up with the acronym. And then the following day, which stands for Enlightening Millions Synergistically Under One Moon.
Wow.
And then the following day, I domained it. And I sat on it thinking about it for a good year, constantly, put it on my license plate. What am I going to do with Emsum? What am I going to do? And I just wanted to create something that would bring a lot of synergy and I just wanted to create a brand.
Right.
And
did you know it was going to be jewelry,
No,
or you
I didn't.
you just kind of came up with the name?
what I came up with was actually something for a children's line,
Okay.
which I'm going to, probably do one of these days. I worked on it for about 6 months, but I just couldn't grasp it. It was out of my realm of expertise, and I had plenty of meetings on it, but I just, I had to put it aside. It just wasn't coming to me. It wasn't resonating. And then this came up. I had the opportunity probably a year later to create some, I was diddling, I was messing around with this, and I had the opportunity to make some jewelry for a .com company, the board of directors and advisory board of this technology company. And
Now, a technology company wanted jewelry?
well, actually, I was making it for the board of directors and the advisory board that were on this technology company as a gift. And about 3 months later, Tom Ryan of Target, the CEO of Target, contacted me and said he wanted one for his son-in-law because he was sitting on the board.
Right.
And when I received that email about 3 months later that my son-in-law loved it so much I wanted to gift him one, this was probably about 6 years ago, I knew I was onto something.
Wow.
So I started with the men's line, and then I moved on to the women's. I'm still doing the men's. I'm in the Cosmopolitan, going on 4 years. And it's just been awesome.
Oh, neat. That's sort of like that divine intervention, the universe all coming together in the right time.
Yeah, in the right time.
Right.
Yeah.
So give us an idea of now, where do you get all of your stones, your sources? Where do these things come from?
Well, the last couple years, I made it a mission to get my gemstones directly from the source. So, as you can see, I use a lot of African pyrite, and so I get my pyrite, my emerald cut pyrite, straight from Africa. The Radrushka, the water buffalo.
Which ones are these?
Yeah, I'm wearing the choker to this set over
right here.
And it's consciously sourced water buffalo horn, and it's lined with gemstones, with smoky quartz and crystal quartz, and there's some ox bone there, which is consciously sourced. That comes from New York City, and that's sourced out, but that's consciously, sourced out. And then all of my Brazilian agate comes from Uruguay, and you won't see these anywhere because I have them custom drilled for me. And I just, anywhere from Africa, Afghanistan, I don't have any lapis here. My beautiful Tahitian abalone right there, abalone shell, is from the South Pacific, and they're just unique. They're unique gemstones that offer a lot of healing powers, life force energy. All these gemstones have.
Now, when you talk about life force energy, what do you mean?
I mean, we've known for centuries that gemstones have healing properties, and I truly believe that all of these gemstones have life force. They offer healing properties for different ailments, for what you're going through. I actually make mine a little bit more on the bespoke side, like bespoke creations, really exquisite, the exquisite cuts. So they're more on the fancy side, more elegant.
Not to put down what you'll find in
not
the
so
craft
casual.
stores, right? Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
they're not so casual, but they are today. And
But they look like really fine jewelry.
it is.
Yeah,
I think
fine
it's
jewelry.
kind of fine,
Yeah.
and I've evolved. I just love the exquisite cuts. I mean, everyone can wear pyrite, like what I have is pyrite,
Yeah.
which comes from Brazil.
Right.
But when you have it in emerald cut, which is over there, you can see it right there. When you have it in an emerald cut, it just makes it so rich. It looks like diamonds are, when the sun's hitting it.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, very rich.
Now, who actually puts your pieces together? I mean, this is like a lot of work. Are you doing this by hand?
I do it all myself and all by hand. And it's what I do every single day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
I absolutely love it.
Wow. Yeah. Just to work with the color and to work with the texture has got to be just such a joy.
Yes, I won't let anyone else do my gemstone. You know, I've attempted, I tried to source out one time to have some people help me like do a certain type of knot that I, swear by. But it just, I would look at it and it just wasn't fitting proper. It was loose on the wrist, and it's like, no, I just do it on myself. Being in the #1 men's store in the country, if I had these bracelets breaking, they're not going to keep me. They have these high profile clients, and if I had returns, if I had breaks, so I do all of it myself just to assure the
Right. And when you talk about the expression of the energy coming from the stones, you also have the energy of your love that's going into these stones as well, because this is a labor of love. I've tried to put together a couple of pieces of jewelry myself, and it's kind of time consuming.
It is.
Yeah.
There's so much intention behind these pieces, and then what sets me apart is every single design that you see. If you're gifting it, or even if you receive it for yourself, I put the healing properties to everything. So I'll either handwrite it on my special tag, or for retail purposes, I have the healing properties printed up for all of these gemstones. Every single one will have the healing properties that are associated with your moonstone, your blue lace agate, even your bone. Your bone has healing properties. The horn, known for feminine courage.
Yeah. So how did you do all the research on these? Because, I mean, that had to be part of your process, too, as you were making your selection about which gemstones or which bones to use.
I just bought a lot of books. I spent countless hours in the library, going to Barnes & Noble, just sitting there, grabbing a coffee. I'd be there 4 or 5 hours just looking at all of the books. And if I saw something that was really going to be useful, I would buy that book and just start creating a library. And so those are my resources. And then about 4 years ago, I got my business license in this, and my resale number and tax ID, so I could go to the largest shows, private shows, and go to the direct source and meet the people that are running the mines. And some of these people, like in Brazil, they only come to the States once a year. So I would base my I base my schedule on when they're coming here, so I could just plant myself with them 5 days, not leave, morning, noon, and night. I'd stay there from the moment they would come in until they leave, and just pick their brain and pick out these beautiful, beautiful pieces. I mean, absolutely beautiful. These huge Brazilian agates that look like they're smoky quartz, right here in the front.
Right.
And they're custom drilled for me, so you'll never see these. There's no anchors, which I believe that cheapens your jewelry when you have the anchors.
Right, yeah.
So all of these are drilled through.
Oh, wow.
And like my water buffalo horn, drilled through.
That's why they
so
look
I
so
can
smooth.
put different faceted gemstones. Yeah, and yeah, like what I'm wearing right here. I just love it.
Well, as a small business owner, this is like actually not, this is sort of like a medium business. This is not really a small business because you've got so many outlets that you're supplying. What would you say to somebody else who's looking for their passion? Because it came to you in a dream, but then also you were in a position where you made yourself available for an opportunity. I mean, by doing the board of directors thing that led to one of the board members saying, "I want you to make one for my son." You know, it's not just sitting at home thinking about it.
Right.
You got to get out there.
Right, absolutely. You just have to move forward constantly and act on your dream. And I believe that if you put effort towards something every single day, you know, it will blossom, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is. And this, I thought about it morning, noon, and night. I had so much passion in it. And then getting the feedback from people, you know. So when I first started, I probably invested, I don't know, $1,000 of my own money in just different types of gemstones. And I would create and I would mail out, write the healing properties down to all of my friends, family members, relatives all over the states, and wait for their feedback, and grow from there. And then when I believe that opportunities arise when you're open and you do things with intention and integrity, and that's what happened. And I've just evolved, and people really feel my passion, and they want, you know, they want to be able to support me, and use me as their main source of gifting. And my customer service is, you know, amazing. I do deliveries all day long, and then open up my studio for people. And when they come in, I have this 25-foot intention tree that I created. So when people come in, the first thing that they do is I have them write down their intention, their wish or their dream, and they place it on the intention tree. And that starts, you know, the synergy right there, and that starts their experience in what I've tried to create. And I actually just created a line of the intention trees with the started branding that. And I do probably 4 or 5 deliveries a week with my 5-foot intention trees and money trees with the intention labels. And so, you know, just I think that I'm constantly thinking of how I can evolve, how I can build the brand, and just put a lot of effort towards it. And I think that anyone that, you know, has a passion, and you know, me, I was selling real estate for many years, and I just wanted to create a brand, and I wanted to have my own schedule and do something that would really make people feel good.
Our first guest on the show was Chef Don from VegeNation, and he spoke with that same passion. He said how he grew up in the restaurant industry, and it was one way, but he really wanted to do a plant-based restaurant. And so it was sort of a set of circumstances, of, you know, little instances that led him to be able to open his own restaurant. And now he's just living his dream, and you're doing the same thing. You're living your dream, but you both have the same path in that you took those steps. You know, you knew that you had something that you really wanted to do, and you took the steps to make it happen.
I think that when you want freedom and you want to be your own boss, and you believe in yourself, you have to reach a point where you cannot be afraid of failure or fear of what people think. You just have to get out there. And you just cannot look back. You have to follow your passion no matter what it is. And with all of our outlets that we have now with social media,
Right.
The world is your oyster.
Right.
You can do so much with being your own boss and getting out there and marketing your own brand, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's what I've done. And
your pieces are so unique. That's the thing that I love about them is they're so unique. You're not going to see anything like this anywhere else. And so when they go to how do they go to your website, and again where your stores are, and where's your studio?
I have appointment only studio, which they can reach me by email marcia@emsum.com or my telephone number, which we'll put up.
Okay.
And my men's collection, I have 3 lines at the Cosmopolitan. I have necklaces, rings, and men's gemstone bracelets with sterling silver, just beautiful findings. That's at the Cosmopolitan. I'm in Georgia, Beverly Hills, and in Atlantic City, but we'll put the addresses up when they're in their when they're traveling. They can stop by. But my email address is emsum.com, and I have appointments like 3 to 5 a day, and I would love for anyone to come by and get some early holiday shopping. And then I have a big trunk show.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have a big event coming up.
I have a big event coming up December 8th at Desert Shores on Regatta, and we'll put that up.
Right.
And we'll have Gracie's House there, a big charity. We'll have 2 huge artists and a lot of refreshments, food, raffles, staycations. It's going to be a nice affair. That's 12 to 9 to accommodate everyone's schedule.
Right.
And what else? Just you really, these do not complement themselves on,
you have to see them in person.
Yes, you have to feel, touch, see, and see the craftsmanship. They're absolutely beautiful, all one of a kind.
Right. Now, do people come in and do they commission with you? Do they say, I want a certain type of necklace or for
I make
a wedding?
things. I make things all the time. I just made a tanzanite. I don't know how rare tanzanite is. So rare. I just made a beautiful tanzanite choker. It's actually in my car. I'm getting ready to ship out to Sarasota, Florida, and it's similar to these chokers right here. This is aquamarine, but tanzanite is so rare. And so I did a tanzanite choker with the tanzanite little pendant encased in sterling silver. I just did a wedding in Maine, and I did a rhodonite garnet to match the flowers. I had to get those custom drilled because you usually only see those like in a 3 or 4 millimeter. And I did that in an 8 millimeter faceted for a wedding of 12. So that was in Maine.
Right.
I do customs all the time. I actually just created my own line of diamond karmas. They're over there. It's
on the end?
Right here.
Okay, close.
1 point in the middle. 1.60 carat of total diamond weight and a 0.40 clasp of diamond weight. But it's taken me a year, and I created these on my own, so they're exclusive, one of a kind. Karma. We all want karma. We all want good karma. So I'm evolving. I
know. You have to do some more stuff than when we had when you were on the first time. It's gorgeous.
I didn't bring the green intention tree this time.
Because we tape in front of a green tree. She actually, a green screen, and we've got video edited in now, but anything that's green disappears. And so we didn't even think about it. We'd set the whole table up, and the intention tree was right here, and then all of a sudden John goes, oh, we can't do that. So we'll have pictures of the intention tree, of course, up for the show, and all of the information about the show coming up. And I'm just very happy for you both. I mean, we had 2 great guests on today. You both you're living your passion, you're living your dream, and it's just neat to see.
Yeah, it's fun. It's it spreads synergy, right? It spreads synergy. Also, a lot of these designs have matching pieces.
Okay. So
the chokers with the bracelets and everything, I'm wearing the choker to the water buffalo horn. Right. So a lot of these pieces have...
do you do earrings?
I do have earrings. I think I brought them last time.
I think so too.
I have beautiful earrings. And again, my whole line is just precious and semi-precious gemstones, raw from the earth, and one of a kind, that you know, of course, I'm making them myself. Of course, they're one of a kind.
Right.
But yeah, just very unique pieces that
And you've spoken during this interview too, and you were on before, about honoring the earth and honoring these stones because they are from basically Mother Nature.
They are. I cleanse them weekly with sage smoke to get rid of all of the negative energies. And when it's a full moon, my studio is just all glass. And so when the full moon, that's a natural cleanser.
Right.
And these go outside as is to cleanse. And yeah, they're honored. They're made with intention, and you feel it when you're wearing it. You feel it. And yeah, they're all ethical. So everything that I like, the bone, the horn, the animals are not killed for this. They like this musk horn I have at the end. That's only found in the Himalayan mountains, and they come off with fighting, right? When the musk goats fight, but they're only found in the Himalayas, and so they're one of a kind. Of course, I have it encased in sterling silver, and I have used beautiful pieces such as the Radrushka, the pyrite, the African pyrite, to pick up the sterling silver and the color of the musk horn. But that's consciously sourced. I mean, it wasn't,
The animal was not killed for this.
No,
right.
exactly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for sharing once again. And again, your big event, December 8th.
December 8th,
Right.
12 to 8, or 12 to 9.
Okay, so this is the place to go to get your very unique holiday jewelry that you're not going to see anywhere else, and I think that's just so wonderful in and of itself. There's nothing worse. It's sort of like being a woman. You go out and you see another woman wearing the same dress you're wearing. Well, this is not going to happen with this jewelry.
Exactly. A percentage of the proceeds go to Gracie's house.
And Gracie's house is?
It's a new charity that's been newly formed. It's a brand new charity. I think Barbara Sullivan has created it. They'll be there at the this gratitude artisan showcase, and we call it gratitude because we're very grateful for the holiday season. And so I'm not really familiar too much on Gracie's house, but we're giving them an avenue to giving them an outlet to
raise some funds
and awareness, it's a great cause. I'll have more information for it on the link.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Thank
you.
Thank you for being on the show again today. It's my
you're
pleasure.
so welcome.
Yeah.
You're so welcome. It was my honor.
And thank you all for joining us here on Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese. Again, Christmas shopping, folks. We'll see you right here next week.